An amazing story about one of the world's greatest artists linked to one of our items on Flog It in 45 minutes. First on BBC Two, Jason Mohammad has the final score.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Latest score is Wimbledon.
John Terry's tears, we all remember those.
Crucial week.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Final Score. We're already into the second week of the Football League season. Already there are stories developing up and down the country. Lots to talk through then with the former Arsenal and Wales striker John Hartson and the Reading striker Jason Roberts, both here to give you their thoughts on the afternoon's football. And I should point out that Jason is currently injured. That's why he's here with us today and not at Bolton Wanderers. So the Premier League season just 7 days away, so the Football League takes centre stage. Let's bring you right up to date with the very latest scores in the Championship. It's Blackburn Rovers 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Blackpool 0, Barnsley 0, Bolton 1, Reading 1. Bolton unbeaten at home in 2013. They've been pegged back by Nick Blackman's penalty after Darren Pratley gave them the lead. Brighton 1, Derby 2. Derby have come from behind to lead with Chris Martin scoring in either half. Charlton 0, Middlesbrough 0, Huddersfield 1, QPR 1. QPR won their opening 2 games of the season, but they trailed to James Vaughan's opener before Junior Hoylett restored parity. Ipswich 1, Millwall 0. Both sides lost last weekend. An own goal by Shane Lowry that's put Ipswich Town ahead. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Burnley 2 is the latest from Hillsborough. It's Watford 4, Bournemouth 1. Watford's Italian defender Gabriel Angela has scored twice. Troy Deeney and Lewis McGugan adding further goals. And it's Yeovil Town 0, who had a great start last week at Millwall. They are losing 1-0 at home to Birmingham City. So a very good afternoon then to John Hartson and to Jason Roberts. Jason, first of all, how's the rehab?
It's going very well. The injury, I've been out for 7 months with this hip issue, but we're working hard over the last couple of weeks. I've actually been able to do some running pain-free. So we're hoping over the next couple of months I'll be back available for selection. Good.
Hope to see you back very soon. What's the mood at the Medeski?
It's good. I think we're going for promotion. We feel like we have the squad to do it. I mean, you look today, the likes of Lafondra, Hal Robson-Kanu and Federici on the bench, and the likes of Adrian Mariappa not even making the squad, I think shows the strength of our squad. And we feel like we're aiming for promotion.
John, you've been looking at the Championship, so I'm going to ask you which teams you think are going to be in the top 6. Please say Reading, because he sat next to you.
Well, if Reading get the big fella fit to scoring goals, they've got a great chance. But,
that's it.
No, I think you've got to look at the 3 teams that were relegated last season, Reading, QPR and Wigan. I really like the look of QPR. Harry Redknapp's been there before, of course, as we know, won the Championship at Portsmouth, also got to an FA Cup final. And besides that, I think they'll score plenty of goals. You know, the likes of Zamora, they've got plenty of experience. They're going to spend £5 million on Charlie Austin during the week. You look at their bench today, Wright Phillips, Janus, got a lot of experience, so I think QPR will be the favourites for me. OK, fellas, we have reporters right around the country. Troy Deeney's goal last weekend gave Watford an opening day win as they look to improve on their playoff final defeat last year. Today they face Eddie Howe's Bournemouth. Good afternoon, Tony Husband.
Hi Jason, and they've been very impressive in the second half of this game against promoted Bournemouth, who I think are going to look back on this as a bit of a learning curve in their second week in the Championships, because for 45 minutes they were good value. It was 1-1 at the break after Bournemouth had cancelled out Gabriel Angela's goal 13 minutes in from the first corner of the game through Lewis Graben. He scored his second goal in many days for Bournemouth. He scored 2 last week against Charlton on their Championship debut. But the second half, Watford have really run away with it. Angela with another header from a free kick. Deeney then, 10 minutes into the second half, broke away, proved stronger, finished well. And then a very similar goal from McGugan just 10 minutes after that, again from the right-hand side, finishing well. Bournemouth are looking a little forlorn. This has been, as I said, just a steep learning curve moment for them in this, their first season back in the Championship, and they're trailing 4-1 with 17 minutes to go.
Ipswich now lead Millwall by 2-0. Middlesbrough have taken the lead at Charlton. 2 wins in a week, a decent start for Harry Redknapp and QPR, especially with Charlie Austin scoring his first for the club in the League Cup. Today they're at Huddersfield Town, where Damian Johnson is watching.
It's 1-1 here, entertaining game. Huddersfield took the lead through James Vaughan, a neat close-range header after Oliver Norwood's right-wing cross. And they equalised. Queen's Park Rangers' Junior Hoylett poking home at the far post. It's been a decent second half too. Charlie Austin, on his first league start for Queen's Park Rangers, has gone closest. A header against the crossbar. Barton, who starts again, failed to follow up and score. Austin wearing a head bandage after a clash of heads with James Vaughan in the first half. 17 minutes remaining. It's 1-1 here.
Yeovil Town enjoyed a winning start to life in the Championship. Edward Upson's late winner scored the 3 points against Millwall. Today they take on Birmingham for the very first time, Andy Gillies.
Yes, their first home Championship game, but they're trailing with 17 minutes to play. Yeovil 0, Birmingham 1. The goal for Birmingham after 48 minutes, corner from the right-hand side from Ferguson. Webster went to head it clear, and ironically, it struck Dan Burn, the Birmingham centre-back, who scored the goal for Yeovil at Wembley, which took them up to the Championship, and inadvertently Burn scored the goal which gave Birmingham the lead. Bad news for Yeovil early on when Steck, their goalkeeper, had to be replaced by Gareth Stewart, their goalkeeping coach, who was on the bench, Steck incurring a hand injury. But at the other end, Randolph, the Birmingham goalkeeper, has made some fine saves, particularly one when he's tipped Webster's header, point-blank header, onto the crossbar. That would have been an equaliser, but it's Birmingham who still lead by 1-0.
Well, Jason's side Reading opened up with a good win over Ipswich last weekend. Today they're at Bolton, who brought in Jay Spearing from Liverpool this week. Live to Richard Askham.
Yeah, hi Jason. 1-1 at the Reebok. Good game as well. Two well-organised sides who both carry plenty of goal threat. Darren Pratley opened the scoring, arriving late to head in a Mark Tierney cross for Bolton. Meadows thumping drive. Bolton just on the attack now. Moritz with a shot that is deflected but well fielded by Alex McCarthy. Meadow almost doubling the lead before half-time. But this half, Jason, Reading have really responded and forced the home side back. That pressure resulting in a looping cross that was handled by Chung Yong Lee. Nick Blackman coolly converted, but for a couple of excellent saves from Adam Bogdan, one of them at point blank, the Royals would be ahead. They also now have Adam Lafondra on off the bench, and with 8 goals as a sub last season, we know what normally happens when he does that.
Only 2 wins for Reading on Bolton turf. Well, Leon Best scored a late equaliser for Blackburn on Sunday to grab a point at Derby. Today they're chasing a 50th win over Nottingham Forest. Good afternoon to Ivan Gaskell.
Afternoon and welcome to the Lancashire sunshine. 12 minutes or so to go, 0-0. A 6 out of 10 sort of match here. A largely solid rather than spectacular affair. Forest probably shading it, though with nothing to show for it. Though clear chances noticeable by their absence here. Patterson and Majewski closest for Forest. Rhodes and Lowe contriving to steer Blackburn's best efforts wide. At a half-empty Ewood Park, or half-full, depends how you look at it. I'm a half-empty kind of guy. 12 to go, 0-0.
Well, Blackpool are without Tom Ince today. He starts a 2-match suspension for a gesture towards a match official at Monday's loss at Preston. So his dad, Paul, is looking for a new match winner today against Barnsley. Any sign, Gary Flintoff?
I have to be honest, Jason, and say no, that Blackpool really are missing last season's leading goal scorer. 0-0 is the score. Both sides have created opportunities, but both have been pretty frustrating in front of goal. Michael Chopra with the best chance of the game for Blackpool in the first half. It was a good give and go, but his shot went wide of the far post. Barnsley have asked questions in the second half, albeit Blackpool have looked the more likely to open the scoring. Jason Scotland should have done better. He headed over. Chris O'Grady should have done a great deal better. He scooped his shot over the crossbar. We await the first goal. It's 0-0.
So, not been the easiest of starts then for the new Brighton boss, Oscar Garcia. 2 defeats in a week. Defeat to Leeds on the opening day. Dumped out of the League Cup by Newport at the Amex for Brighton v Derby. Hamish Marshall, not any better today either, Hamish.
No, it's not. We could be heading for 3 defeats because it's Brighton 1, Derby 2. Brighton actually took the lead. A good header from Leonardo Ulloa for his second goal in 2 league games. But Chris Martin levelled from close range. And right at the start of the second half, Martin was on the end of an excellent Kieran Freeman cross to make it 2-1. Derby, though, are having to defend as we enter the last 15 minutes. Ulloa is heading onto the post. And Augustine has had a powerful shot tipped over. It's Brighton 1, Derby 2.
Tough start to life at Brighton for Oscar Garcia. It seems a little strange to be saying this after just 1 week of the season, but Tony Mowbray appears to be under pressure at Middlesbrough. 2 defeats already, one of them by Accrington Stanley in the Cup. He's highlighted goal scoring as a particular issue. Today, there are Chris Powell's Charlton live to Rob Nothman.
Well, Middlesbrough haven't won away from home this calendar year, Jason, but they have their noses in front courtesy of Lukas Jutkovic's header in the second half. In truth, it's been a poor game. Borough have edged it. Only one shot on target in the whole of the first half. Otherwise, plenty of decent passing, but little zip in the final third. Charlton's Danny Green had a shot well saved by Steele in the Middlesbrough goal in the second half. But Middlesbrough edging towards what would be a precious away win. They lead 1-0.
Thank you, Rob. We'll take you back to the Championship in just a moment. Let's move into League One. 2 games, no goals, a League Cup defeat. Not a great start for Kenny Jackett at Wolves today. They're at home for the very first time. They take on Gillingham. Jackie Oatley, what's the mood at Molineux?
The mood is a very jubilant one because Wolves are leading Gillingham by 4-0. The fourth goal added just a moment or two ago by Lee Griffiths, the Scotland striker, who's yet to have his chance really for Wolves before today, and he's now scored twice. A penalty in front of the South Bank away to the right, putting the ball past Stuart Nelson after Legg had fouled Evans. In the first half, though, Wolves getting off to the flyer that Kenny Jackett wanted. Griffiths himself with a fantastic early goal, but in too much space. Lee Evans, the young Welshman, making it 2-0, and Bakary Saka making it 3. It's been so easy for Wolverhampton Wanderers. A delayed kick-off by 13 minutes due to the crowds wanting to get in and to pay tribute to Dave Wagstaff. It's Wolves 4, Gillingham 0.
The former Wolves manager, now Sheffield Wednesday boss Dave Jones, was very critical about the performance of the referee in their defeat to QPR last Saturday. He felt they should have had a penalty. Today they take on Burnley. Peter Slater, is Mr Jones happy today?
No, he's not, because they're losing. They actually started the brighter, plenty of pace, chances going close, but Burnley hit them twice in 5 minutes just after the half hour, and Jones's season already started to unravel. Danny Ings scored the first, heading in Ross Wallace's cross. Sam Vokes added the second, another header, Kieran Trippier the provider, and Burnley had a real stranglehold on the game. But Wednesday, to their credit, have continued to pressurise in the second half. Tom Heaton made a fine double save from Nuhiu, and David Prutton's header has recently halved the deficit and raised the decibel level. So the game not over by a long chalk, but Burnley still hold a 2-1 lead.
Lots of booing in the background there. Surely it wasn't for Peter's delivery of that report. It was immaculate. The Ipswich manager, Mick McCarthy, up against his former club Millwall at Portman Road today. Both teams lost their opening day fixtures. Live to Steve May.
Yes, it's 2-0 here at the moment to Ipswich, Jason. And on Sir Bobby Robson National Football Day, Ipswich went ahead through an own goal from Sean Lowry, who deflected an Aaron Cresswell flick into his own net. But although the goal was rather unfortunate from Millwall's point of view, it did give us a better reflection of the two sides. Millwall have offered little in this match. David McGoldrick of Ipswich had a couple of chances in the first half, the best after he'd brought the ball down with his hands, not spotted by the officials, but then Bywater blocked to save any sort of embarrassment. Then the second goal just a short while ago, Tommy Smith with a close-range header from a right-wing free kick, so powerful from 5 yards out that Bywater had no chance whatsoever. As I say, Sir Bobby Robson Day, and this was celebrated by a minute's worth of applause by the Portman Road crowd, led by ex-Ipswich legends Mick Mills and Brian Hamilton just before the kick-off. I think Bobby, looking down, will be enjoying this scoreline. Ipswich 2, Millwall 0.
Sure he would be. Thank you, Steve. Let's go to League Two. What a start it's been for Newport. An opening day victory on their return to the Football League. A superb cup win over Brighton last Tuesday. Has that form continued at Northampton this afternoon, Andy Barwell?
Well, not really. They've played very well. 2-0 though to Northampton Town. Never really saw this one coming. Newport made a very powerful start. Could have been 3-0 up. Chris Zabrowski unlucky not to score. But Northampton have taken their chances. Jacob Blythe scoring with a powerful header on his debut. And then a couple of minutes later, Roy O'Donovan added a second with a good individual goal. Signs that Adi Boothroyd's side are beginning to gel. 7 of his 9 signings started here. It's Northampton 2, Newport County 0.
It's the Edinburgh Derby tomorrow as Hearts take on Hibs in the Scottish Premiership. Just 2 games today, one of them at Victoria Park, where Ross County manager Derek Adams expects Partick to be very tough to beat. Good afternoon to Ailey Barber.
Good afternoon, Jason. Yes, tough to beat they are proving to be, and it's the first top-flight meeting between these two sides, and it started with a 45 minutes to forget, really. Chris Doolan knocking in from a corner to give the visitors the lead, the only real highlight. The second half has been a different story, though. Thistle burst into life, and Stephen Lawless smashed one in from the edge of the box. 5 minutes in to double the visitors' lead. He then doubled his own tally, tapping in from a Stuart Bannigan cross. County did get one back, a Graham Carey effort deflected in for what looks like nothing more than a consolation. In the last 5 minutes, Callum Higginbotham has had the ball in the back of the net twice for Partick Thistle. Both have been ruled out for offside. At this stage, it is Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 3.
Thank you, Ailey. What about this for a scoreline in the conference? Forest Green lead 10-man Hyde by 8 goals to 0. Let's go back to the championship then, have a chat with Jason about his team. Reading, Jem Karachan went close.
He did a great ball, and he just Lafondra comes on, and when he comes on, things happen. And in the last 5-10 minutes, he's absolutely fantastic. OK, back to you in just a moment. Another goal for Andy Barwell.
Yes, it's now 3-0 to Northampton Town. Surely game over here. Another one of A.D. Boothroyd's new signings. Gary Deegan took advantage. Some sloppy defending from Newport. Deegan slotted the ball home. 3-0 to the home side.
Thank you, Andy. Back to your boys, Reading, then.
It's been a good away performance. I mean, you go to a place like Bolton, you know it's going to be a tough game. A little bit disappointed with the goal we gave away. Pratley ghosting in at the far post. You've got to do better to stop the cross in the first place. But Nick Blackman steps up and scores a very, very good penalty. And, 1-1 away from home, I think we'll take that.
What about Bolton Wanderers, John? Because at the end of last season, they went on a great run, almost made the playoffs, and Doogie Freedman's doing a very good job there.
Well, they did. They finished really, really strong last season. Bit unlucky, really, not to have got to the playoff positions simply because of their poor start, and obviously they changed their manager sort of quarter of the way through the season. Dougie just needed a bit of time to to out a few and bring in his own type of players, his staff and everything else, but very unlucky. So Bolton, I would think, need to be in and around the mix this season for me.
Another goal at Portman Road, Steve May.
And it's another goal for Ipswich, who now lead Millwall by 3 goals to 0. The substitute, Paul Anderson, has scored it. Cross came over from the right-hand side, and Anderson stooped to head the ball. I think the ball was actually below his knees at the time, and Stephen Bywater in the Millwall goal having very little chance there at the near post. Ipswich leading here 3-0.
One of the teams, Jason, that you must be fearing are Watford, who went ever so close last year. I said this on the programme last week. For me, one of the best teams I saw last year when working for Final Score. Do you think they'll be up there at the end of the season? There's
no doubt in my mind they will be. They brought in a lot of the players that they had on loan last year. But for me, it comes down to keeping Troy Deeney fit and scoring goals. 20 goals last season. Yes, he's going to miss his strike partner, Vidra, who was a fantastic player and really was the fulcrum of what they did. But Troy Deeney, for me, is going to be someone who's going to stretch defenders. If he can get 20 goals again, they'll be somewhere close to it, and if I can keep Lewis McGugan playing well, he's got another goal today, I think Watford will be in and around it.
When you look at teams who've missed out on promotion, especially those beaten finalists, it can sometimes be very difficult to pick the squad up. And
I think the players, they have such... He will encourage the team to pass the ball. I'm sure he'd be a joy to work with and to play for. And I think the fact that he can tap into the, to the European market, he knows quite a lot of people. You look at the players that he's brought in. Angelo, one of the players he has brought in, has got 2 goals today, and a great 1-0 victory last week at St Andrews at Birmingham. Another great win today against Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, who I think will go well this season. So no, I really fancy Watford to be there.
OK, let's get the latest then on Bolton v Reading. Live to Richard Askham.
Yes, Jason, and Reading really pushing in these last few minutes. Adam Bogdan has made a couple of very good saves today. The best of them just a moment ago to deny Sean Morrison, the big centre-half, arriving point-blank range almost, and Bogdan somehow kept his powerful header out. But it is Reading who are pushing. Adam Lafondra really tricky in the box, but also creating opportunities for his teammates as well. Bolton, I wouldn't say they're hanging on, but it's definitely Reading who are looking for that goal that will give them all 3 points.
OK, well, there is a goal at Vicarage Road, and Tony Husband, Jason Roberts was just telling me all about Troy Deeney. What have you got to tell us?
I shouted straight down the line, Deeney goal, and this is a cracker, an absolute belter. He's just over 20 yards out. He's done the work, turned on the edge of the box, and he absolutely belted it, right-footed, into the corner of the net. It's bad now for Bournemouth, but this is very impressive from Zola's men. 5-1 they lead now.
Mr. Roberts, take a bow. Take a bow. Is this what you'll be doing throughout the season then when you're not playing? Coming on here, telling us the players to look out for, and then they score?
Well, hopefully I'll be doing a little bit more playing. But Troy Deeney, I mean, he shows what he's about. He's got fantastic presence. He upsets defenders. He runs in behind. He's a physical presence. He'll get hold of the ball. But as well as that, he can score goals. He can score goals from anywhere on the pitch. He's always got his mind on getting a shot off. And when he does, he can certainly catch it with both feet. And today, 2 goals. He'll be happy with that.
Has he impressed you, Troy Deeney?
Yes, he has. As Jason said, 20-odd goals last season. It's very, very important to keep him fit. And if they do, we both think Watford will be right in the mix, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I mean, Vidra is going to be a miss for them. But if with Troy Deeney linking with McGugan, I think they've got a fulcrum there that they can build and hopefully this season go one step further than they did last year.
OK, first full time of the afternoon. Let's go to Ailey Barber at Victoria Park.
Yes, it's finished here. Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 3. And what a fantastic start to life back in the top league for Scottish Premiership new boys Partick Thistle. They followed up their opening day draw with a comprehensive and thoroughly deserved win here in Dingwall. The game didn't really get going until the second half, though. Chris Doolan's knock-in from a corner, the only highlight of an opening 45 minutes. Thistle came out after the break, though, with all guns blazing, and 2 goals from Stephen Lawless in quick succession put the visitors on easy streets. There was a slight moment of panic when Graham Carey's deflected shot looped in over Scott Fox in the Thistle goal, but it wasn't to be for Ross County. No comeback, and Partick Thistle take all the points back down to Glasgow. It finished here, Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 3.
Blackburn Rovers, Nottingham Forest fans, hold on. There's been a goal at Ewood Park for Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, a game that appeared to be going nowhere fast has just changed dramatically with a minute and a half of added time to go. Darius Henderson has given Forest the lead. It happened when Jake Keane came out to claim a ball. He was sort of caught in no man's land. The ball fell to Forest, and there was Darius Henderson. He had to get his shot right from 18 yards, and boy, he did just that. Looks like a classic 1-0 away win for Forest, their first here in the league since 1999, with just 60 seconds of added time to go. Forest fans are on their feet.
Newport have scored at Northampton. Let's get the details from Andy Barwell.
Yes, Connor Washington, the substitute's got a goal back for Newport. Too little too late, though, Jason. They trail here by 3 goals to 1. Washington on target in that excellent win at Brighton in midweek. Had a couple of bites of the cherry here, slotted it home eventually. Northampton, though, seem to have lost concentration. It's Northampton 3, Newport 1.
Any sign of a late winner at the John Smith Stadium, Damien Johnson?
Both sides are pushing, Jason, but it remains 1-1 with the clock ticking. Less than 30 seconds remaining here at the John Smith Stadium. Sean Scannell, the substitute for Huddersfield, went close, just poked an effort narrowly wide, hit the side netting for Huddersfield Town. At the other end, Genus with a long-range effort went just over the bar. The clock ticking, as I say, it remains 1-1.
And let's go to Hamish Marshall at the Amex. Oscar Garcia, desperate for a point, Hamish.
He's not the only one. The Brighton fans desperate for something as well. We've got 3 minutes of 5 minutes of stoppage time still to play. It's mostly been Brighton since they went 2 goals to 1 down, but Derby could have finished it just a moment ago. Jamie Ward's cross goal shot was just wide. Brighton got a free kick on the edge of the Derby area at the moment, but they're still trailing 2-1.
What a couple of minutes it's going to be for Troy Deeney. He's got a penalty, steps up, sends it to the goalkeeper's right. Hat-trick for Troy Deeney.
Yeah, and no surprise, he's been outstanding today, the way he's led the line. When you can mix that with goals as well, then it's a perfect performance for a striker.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, you napped it, Jason. You said Troy Deeney. It's very, very important to them. And second game in, and he's got a hat-trick. Showing great form.
He looks very happy. But he's big and he's powerful, and as you said earlier, he can finish as well.
He is. He's an old-fashioned striker. That's what you want in terms of building attacks, in terms of having someone to launch a springboard for attacks. He's the perfect foil, and I think he's going to score a lot of goals this year. He'll be right up there at the top goal scorers again.
OK. There's been a goal for Gary Flint off of Bloomfield Road. Who's it gone to?
Well, it's a goal for Blackpool, but scored by Barnsley. The Seasiders specialise in late strikes in the Championship. They've done it again. It was a long throw from Barry Ferguson, the Blackpool skipper. It just seemed to take the tiniest nick off the head of Dave Perkins in the Barnsley side, past his own keeper. Blackpool 1, Barnsley 0.
I suppose when you are Bournemouth, you are going to get these days, aren't you, where you go against teams like Watford, and if they're on form, it could be a long afternoon.
Well, yeah, you know, it is difficult when you're the promoted, newly promoted side as well. You know, it's just what the expectancy level of the fans. I think the Bournemouth fans will be pretty fair. I actually think under Eddie Howe they'll go really, really well. You know, you know, he's well liked down there, and I was speaking to him last season right at the end, and he was delighted with promotion, but looking to kick on. He wasn't just accepting that they'd come up from League One, and he was quite happy. He wanted to do well this season, and I think they will, but I think the fans have to appreciate they will get drop-ins like they've had today against the stronger sides in the Championship, and of course we've seen an instance of that today.
And you know, it is a tough step up, isn't it, from League One up to the Championship, because I know we say it every year, but the Championship is such a hard league.
It is, but that being said, if you can get on a run of form, I mean, they have good players there. If they can win a game and win 2 or 3 and string some results together, that confidence comes back. They're used to winning from last season. If they can get in that momentum again, then they can go and surprise people.
Let's go to Ivan Gaskell. It's finished at Ewood Park.
Yes, Nottingham Forest's first league win at Blackburn in more than 12 years, but boy, they left it late. Blackburn's keeper Jake Keane came to collect with a minute and a half of added time left. He collided with a Forest forward. The ball was played short to Darius Henderson. He still had work to do, but he struck it beautifully from 18 yards with the keeper scrambling to recover and 2 Blackburn players on the line. A dramatic finale to actually a largely forgettable game, but Forest won't care about that. 3 wins out of 3 and a very good start to the season for Billy Davis's side.
Thank you very much indeed, Ivan. Let's go to Tony Husband at Vicarage Road, all over there.
Yes, all over after 4 minutes of injury time, in which Troy Deeney completed a second-half hat-trick. Watford with a stunning second-half display here, which really blew away promoted Bournemouth, who actually were pretty good value at 1-1 at half-time. Troy Deeney's goals could be crucial, of course, to Watford's promotion ambitions. And the second-half hat-trick among 5 goals in the second period, which went past a shell-shocked Bournemouth defence. They added to a brace on the day from Gabriel Angela, and a well-placed finish from Lewis McGugan. In the first half, Lewis Graben had actually levelled it at 1-1. At that point, well-deserved for Bournemouth, but this is a steep learning curve and a real big result for them to learn from in their first season back in the second tier. They've been beaten here by 6 goals to 1.
Yeah, tough afternoon for Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, but what a great afternoon for Troy Deeney. Let's go to Gary Flintoff at Bloomfield Road,
where it's finished Blackpool 1, Barnsley 0. Quite harsh on the visitors in truth, and it's Scott Wiseman who's been credited with the own goal as opposed to Dave Perkins. There were at least 3 Barnsley defenders looking to head away the Blackpool captain Barry Ferguson's long throw, which caused complete havoc inside the penalty area, but it definitely came off a Barnsley man past Luke Steele in the Barnsley goal. Blackpool will feel they did enough to win this game, but Jason Scotland did have chances coming from the bench in the second half, heading over and having a strong shot well saved by Matt Gilkes in the Blackpool goal. It's 2 league wins out of 2 for the home side. Blackpool 1, Barnsley 0.
It's a dreadful start of the season for Brighton, Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, Brighton 1, Derby 2. After the unusual dismissal of Gus Poyet, Oscar Garcia needed to make a good start. Well, so far that's not happening. They're still playing some nice football, but not quite producing the end product, and they're unhappy at some refereeing decisions, as you may hear from the fans behind. Not many people mention Derby as promotion candidates. They've got a good mix of youth and experience. They've got 4 points from 6. Chris Martin, their hero, with a double today.
Let's go to Andy Gillies, all over at Hewish Park. It has finished. We can't get Andy, but it has finished with Birmingham winning by a goal to 0. Good win for Lee Clark's side. Yeovil Town got off to a great start last week, beating Millwall at the Den, and Birmingham City have won at Yeovil. Hopefully we can hear from Rob Nothman at the Valley.
Yes, a precious win for Middlesbrough and Tony Mowbray. Their first away from home this calendar year. They probably deserved it too, without ever hitting the heights. Lukas Jutkovic headed the only goal midway through the second half. Otherwise, it wasn't a day when you risked running out of ink as a reporter. Jonathan Woodgate was a reassuring presence in the Borough defence, although Charlton substitute Simon Church gave him some uncomfortable moments near the end. But Borough deserved it. They won 1-0.
Newport's fine start to the season is over, Andy Barwell.
Yes, a harsh lesson this for Newport, back in the Football League after 25 years. They came here on the back-to-back victories, where they got turned over by Northampton, last season's losing playoff finalists. It was keeper Matt Duke for the home side, who was excellent today. He really kept his side in this. The goals came from Jacob Blythe, Roy O'Donovan and Gary Deegan. Newport got a stoppage time consolation, Connor Washington the scorer, but it's Northampton who get a first victory of the season under their belts. 3-1 to the home side.
And it's all over at the John Smith Stadium. Damien Johnson.
1-1 it finished. Most people have Queen's Park Rangers as favourites for an immediate return to the Premier League, but today illustrated just how tough this league is, even for promotion favourites. Huddersfield hung in there for a hard-earned draw. They took the lead through James Vaughan's close-range header, his third goal of the season. Junior Hoylett poked in an equaliser before the interval. Both sides pushed and pushed for a winner in the second half. Charlie Austin hit the bar with a header. Alex Smithies in a Huddersfield goal produced a string of great saves to deny the visitors, who in the end had to settle for a point.
Jason Roberts has been oohing and ahhing his way through the last 10 minutes with one eye on Bolton Reading. Richard Ascombe.
Yeah, good game as well, Jason. Two sides expected to be in the shake-up for promotion, and little divided them in a really good contest. Bolton had the edge before the break, Darren Pratley arriving late to head in the opener. But for a post-Meadows thumping drive from outside the area would have made it 2. And at that stage, with Jay Spearing snarling and scheming in midfield, Wanderers were on top. But in the second period, it was Nigel Adkins Reading who bossed the game. Ex-Real Madrid and Everton man Royston Drenthe, a constant threat. Chung Yong Lee's handball was punished with a spot kick converted by Nick Blackman. Adam Bogdan in the Bolton goal then had to be at his best more than once to pick a point-blank save to deny Sean Morrison. But overall, a point just about right.
Thank you, Richard. A big win for Burnley, Peter Slater.
Yeah, they've beaten Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. Wednesday didn't do a lot wrong in truth, but it's now 3 games, 3 2-1 defeats for them. They were undone here twice in 5 first-half minutes. Headers first from Danny Ings, second from Sam Vokes, both converting crosses from the right. And they could have added more, Kirkland turning a Sam Vokes effort round a post. But as I said, Wednesday didn't do an awful lot wrong. Tom Heaton made an excellent double save. There was plenty of penalty area pinball, and David Prutton headed in 20 minutes from time to raise the noise level and the hopes of the home fans. But Burnley remain unbeaten. Wednesday still seek their first point. No wonder the PA's just been playing things can only get better. 2-1 Burnley at Hillsborough.
2 league defeats on the bounce for Millwall, Steve May.
Yes, it's finished here. Ipswich 3, Millwall 0. All the goals coming in the second half. An own goal from Sean Lowry, a header by Tommy Smith, and then a stooping header at the near post from the substitute Paul Anderson. Ryan Tunnicliffe really should have made it 4. Millwall, though, can't argue with the nil part of the scoreline, and Sir Bobby Robson would have enjoyed the second half. Ipswich 3, Millwall 0.
Another thrilling day in the Championship. You can have your say on all the day's football on Radio 5 Live from 6 o'clock this evening with Robbie Savage and Caroline Barker. Also on Radio 5 Live tomorrow at 2, the Community Shield from Wembley as Manchester United take on Wigan. And then on Wednesday night, also live from Wembley, it's England v Scotland in an international friendly. That's if there is such a thing between 2 great sporting nations. So here they are, all the day's football results read by Mike West.
And starting with the Sky Bet Championship, Blackburn Rovers 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Blackpool 1, Barnsley 0. Bolton Wanderers 1, Reading 1. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Derby County 2. Charlton Athletic 0, Middlesbrough 1. Huddersfield Town 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Ipswich Town 3, Millwall 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Burnley 2. Watford 6, AFC Bournemouth 1. And Yeovil Town 0, Birmingham City 1. The Sky Bet League 1, Bradford City 4, Carlisle United 0. Brentford 3, Sheffield United 1. Colchester United 1, Port Vale 0. Leyton Orient 3, Shrewsbury Town 0. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. Notts County 2, Peterborough United 4. Oldham Athletic 0, Walsall 1. Rotherham United 0, Preston North End 0. Swindon Town 1, Stevenage 0. Tranmere Rovers 3, Crawley Town 3. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Gillingham 0 is a latest score. The Sky Bet League 2, Accrington Stanley 2, Portsmouth 2. AFC Wimbledon 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Scunthorpe United 0. Burton Albion 1, Rochdale 0. Chesterfield 2, Cheltenham Town 0. Dagenham and Redbridge 2, York City 0. Hartlepool United 0, Southend United 1. Mansfield Town 0, Exeter City 0. Morecambe 1, Torquay United 1. Northampton Town 3, Newport County 1. Oxford United 2, Bury 1. And Plymouth Argyle 0, Fleetwood Town 2. The Skrill Premier, Barnet 3, Chester City 0. Dartford 1, Alfreton Town 0. Forest Green Rovers 8, Hyde 0. Grimsby Town 1, Aldershot Town 1. Hereford United 1, Braintree Town 1. Kidderminster 3, Gateshead 1. Macclesfield Town 0, Nuneaton Town 1. Salisbury City 0, Tamworth 1. Southport 1, Luton Town 0. Woking 0, Lincoln City 0. And Wrexham 2, Welling United 1. Into Scotland and the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. And Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 4. The Scottish Championship, Alloa Athletic 1, Livingston 0. Dumbarton 1, Falkirk 1. Greenock Morton 2, Cowdenbeath 0. Queen of the South 4, Dundee 3. And Wraith Rovers 0, Hamilton Academical 1. The Scottish League 1, Arbroath 0, Ayr United 3. East Fife 0, Dunfermline 1. Forfar Athletic 3, Airdrieonians 3. Rangers 4, Brechin City 1. And Stenhousemuir 1, Stranraer 0. The Scottish League 2, Clyde 1, Berwick Rangers 0. Elgin City 1, Albion Rovers 2. Montrose 1, Stirling Albion 2. Peterhead 2, Annan Athletic 2. And Queen's Park 1, East Stirlingshire 3. Finally, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Ballina-Mallard 1, Crusaders 0. Ballymena United 3, Glenavon 6. Cliftonville 4, Ards 2. Glentoran 1, Coleraine 1. Portadown 1, Linfield 1. And finally, Warren Point Town 2, Dungannon Swifts 3.
And they're still playing at Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux, and Wolves is still leading Gillingham by 4-0. So this is how the Championship looks tonight. Watford are top with 2 wins out of 2. Blackpool and Forest alongside them, courtesy of stoppage time victories. FA Cup winners Wigan return to Wembley tomorrow to face Manchester United in the Community Shield. 6 clubs still await their first point of the season, with Barnsley and Millwall yet to score. Into League 1, Leyton Orient lead a quartet of 100%ers along with Peterborough, Walsall and Colchester. Coventry host Bristol City tomorrow as they look to make inroads into their 10-point deduction. Carlisle are second bottom following a second heavy defeat. Into League 2, Oxford remain top. Fleetwood have earned back-to-back league wins for the first time since February. Those 2 clubs are joined on 6 points by Chesterfield and Southend. At the bottom of League 2, Hartlepool, Plymouth and Bury remain pointless. No doubt the performance of the day in the opening round of matches. Forest Green Rovers winning 8-0 against 10-man Hyde. Hyde not bottom though. Aldershot deducted 10 points for entering administration following their relegation last season. Only 2 matches played today in the Scottish Premiership. Leaders Inverness winning and keeping a clean sheet for the second successive weekend. Partick Thistle with the day's other winners. Let's go back to Molineux. Full time, Jackie Oakley.
Well, they're happy round here. It's finished Wolves 4, Gillingham 0, and Wolves' first win at this level for 24.5 years, and a thoroughly convincing one as well. The most impressive players for them were not the seasoned senior players, but rather young Lee Evans, Zeli Ismail and Lee Griffiths, the Scotland striker who scored twice. A control, swivel and volley early on, followed by Evans, who hooked in the second. Sacco with the third, taking advantage of more dreadful Gillingham defending. And Griffiths added the fourth from the spot in the second half, and it could easily have had a hat-trick, but for the goalkeeper goalkeeper Stuart Nelson, who also denied Sigurdarsson late on. So the performance and the result very much a fitting tribute to the late Dave Wagstaff, who was honoured today. Wolves 4, Gillingham 0.
Jackie, thank you very much indeed. So a big win for Wolves, and what a win for Watford today at Vicarage Road. 6-1, and a great day for this man, Troy Deeney. Jason Robertson, John Hartson, big fans of this fella. This is his first goal of the afternoon. Jason, if Troy Deeney has a great season, then Watford have every chance of going up this year.
Without a doubt, and I think you look at that goal, it's not the cleanest strike he'll ever hit. It definitely takes a deflection, but it's a goal, and it's a great start to the season for him.
This one, yeah. He comes,
that makes it 5-1.
Yeah, he comes around on his favoured right foot there, and just to have the confidence, you know, he's already got himself a goal, and that's a wonderful finish.
And you see here, it's not a problem. He can take penalties as well. You look at the collection, those 3 goals, that's a man full of confidence, and he'll be looking at 20 goals again this season.
He reminds me a little bit of Yakubu, you know, where he just glides past people with his strength and his technique. You know, he's that type of stamp of a boy, isn't he?
He is, and he's got that confidence. You can see with those goals there, he's got that confidence, he's got that swagger. And I think after 20 goals last season, he'll be full of confidence going into this year.
What's it like on a Saturday night? If you've won, you're happy. But what's it like when you've got a ball under your arm as well and you've scored a hat-trick and been on the winning side?
Well, they don't come around that often. You know, I never got a Premiership hat-trick. I got a few in the SPL for Celtic, which is slightly easier in Scotland, I have to say. But no, they must be special, because what you do is where you ball. I don't know whether Jason would have got a few, I've no doubt. But you get all the teammates to sign it, and it goes in a little glass cabinet at home or whatever you do. So fair play.
From a striker's point of view, you know, you go out there, you score a hat-trick, you know you've done your job. To get one the style he's got it today, I think you're going into the season with huge confidence, backed up by what he done last season. Yes, he's going to miss his mate Vidra, but he's a born goal scorer.
Yes, well played, Watford, well played, Troy Deeney. What about your team today, Bolton Wanderers? Good game, played well away from home, went a goal down.
Well, we did. I mean, it's what you expect. You go away from home, a place like Bolton, you set up for a point, and anything other than that is a bonus.
This
but
is
you know, this is where we're a little bit disappointed. They've got to get a little bit closer and not allow the cross to go in. But it's a good header. We spoke about him during the week, so we'd be disappointed we've allowed him to get away and get a goal like that.
That's what he does great, isn't it, Pratley?
You know Darren Pratley from his days at
and that's what he does. And as Jason said, you know, Reading did speak about him. You know, but it's a cardinal sin then to speak about someone and actually let him go and do what he's good at.
And you see here Nick Blackman coming to the side, started up front in place of Lafondra, done a real good shift, and to score a goal, and you can see his calmness personified, just steps up and just strolls the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah. Nick Blackman, it's a big season for him, isn't it? Because he was excellent at Sheffield United, and I remember you signing him not long after you met in the FA Cup last year.
I'm a huge fan of his. I was with him at Blackburn, and in training, in spurts, he would show what a top player he was. But today, to come back to be at Reading and to show what he's about, to start up front in place of someone like Lafondra who scored goals, to stretch the defence and work hard and put in that centre-forward's performance that he did, will give him huge confidence, and he's someone I'll keep an eye on this season. I think everyone should watch to see how he gets on this year.
So, John, we've talked about the effect when you miss out on promotion to the Premier League in the Championship and that difficult second season. Obviously, Watford have got off to a flyer today, but so much has happened at Brighton and Hove Albion. It's a dreadful start of the season for Oscar Garcia.
Well, yeah, they've lost 3 games now, and obviously the last 2 they lost. They went out to Newport in the Capital One Cup during the week, their first home game. They wanted to have gone and put that right today, you know, against Derby, but they've been beat again today to Derby. They would still see it as very, very early days in the season. I don't think there's any panic stations here. They've only played 2 games, really, of any importance, if you like. But no, you know, he would certainly want to get off the mark at some stage, definitely.
OK, thank you very much. Let me just point out that Ross County, it finished Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 3. A quick reminder that the World Athletics Championships continue from Moscow tomorrow and across the week on BBC Television and Radio 5 Live. And next weekend, the big boys are back.
You're just too good to be true.
He's gone for it! Was it a chip or a lob?
You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you.
This is 5 Live, nearly 5 minutes gone in the first half.
At long last, love has arrived.
But first, an extraordinary afternoon of football. Bags of goals and plenty to discuss and dissect.
Can't take my eyes off.
Premier League returns. Final score returns on the red button next Saturday from 2:30, and then we're on BBC 2 from 4:30 for the first afternoon of the Premier League season. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Everton, Liverpool, Cardiff City, all those teams taking part in action next Saturday. Do join us then. Thank you to John and Jason. Enjoyed your company, fellas. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching Final Score. From all of us here, bye for now.